Hey, what's up? It's Evan from photoextremist.com, and today you are going to learn how to make this picture. Now, how do we make something like that? Well, what we're going to be using is this little guy. This is called steel wool. It is basically steel in wool form. It lights on fire pretty easily. So what we're going to be doing is taking a lighter, lighting on fire, and it will start sparking, and it will just make sparks. You can also use a 9-volt battery if you want to. Rub it against it, and it will light on fire and start making sparks. But we can't just hold it while it's making sparks. We're going to have to put it in this guy. Now, what is this? This is a whisk that you can get at a thrift store for about 50 cents. And then we're going to attach it to a cable. And the cable on the other end has a little handle for you to grab onto. So it can spin around flawlessly with no resistance. So we're going to put the steel wool inside of the whisk. Once that is in there, we're going to take a lighter or use the 9-volt battery, light it on fire, and then it'll start sparking. And what we're going to want to do is grab the cable and start spinning it around. Now, when you're spinning it around, you're going to want to make sure that you're outside and it's during nighttime. These won't show up during daytime and it won't work. Another thing that you're going to want to make sure that you're not doing is lighting it maybe on top of dry grass. You don't want to do that because that can catch on fire. Don't light it above some gasoline or something stupid like that. What I did is just spin it around in the middle of the road because asphalt is not flammable. You can also do it safely right after it rained for a long period of time in the grass or anywhere outside. Nothing will catch on fire, from my experience anyway. Now, when you're taking the actual picture, what you're going to want to do is put your camera on a tripod and then switch it up to manual mode. You're going to want to adjust the shutter speed to about 30 seconds. The aperture you can experiment with. It depends on what you need. And the ISO as well. I usually start off at ISO 200 and f8. Now, how are we going to focus in the dark? What we're going to do is grab a little LED or flashlight, whatever you want to use, and put it in the middle of the place where you're going to be spinning the wool. So in this case, I put this right in the middle of the road because that's where I wanted my focus point to be. So I just popped this on the ground and I took my autofocus on my camera, focused up on this little point, and then I switched the camera to manual focus. So after you got all that done, you're going to want to light the thing on fire and spin it around. You can spin it around really, really fast and the sparks will go way out there. Or you can spin it down slower and the sparks will just kind of plop down onto the ground. And now there's different types of steel wool as well. Now, over here on the yellow side, you've got just 0. This type of steel wool is thicker. It's pretty durable. The sparks are pretty big when they come off of it. And at the other end of the scale, you got quadruple 0. That's the grade of the steel wool. That's what the zeros represent. You always want to get something that says 0 on it. Don't get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If you do, the wire will be too thick and it won't light very well. So always get grade 0 or lower. And you can get steel wool at a hardware store or home improvement store. There's not much of a difference between the 0 and the quadruple 0. I've heard that this stuff burns faster, although I've not really seen that in my results. Both of these seem to burn about around 25 seconds. So really, I've done tests, and the circles that I've spun and burned, they look exactly the same with either one you're using. A few techniques that you might want to know about. If you just cram up your wool all at the edge of the whisk, and it's just all crammed up in there, packed up, you'll get fewer sparks. However, if you unravel the pad of wool, just kind of poof it out. Yeah, just kind of poof it out like that, and just kind of expand it and make it all poofy. Now, after you're done putting it in the whisk, all separated and poofed up, when you burn it, it'll burn with more sparks. This is because more oxygen is being allowed through the wool. Okay, safety precautions. Wear a hoodie or a hat to protect your hair from catching on fire. Wear long sleeves on your legs as well. Also, if you want to, use gloves. Goggles are a good idea as well. And having a fire extinguisher nearby is also a good idea. I've spun steel wool before, and when I thought it was all done, I walked away to get a new steel wool. And then when I came back, I noticed that the grass on the edge of the road was caught on fire. So I had to go over there and jump on it. Stuff like that can happen, so it's a good idea to have a fire extinguisher nearby. The location of where you spin the wool should always be considered when you're taking your photo. Some really cool locations I like are the beach. This is kind of bad though because it causes a lot of attention when you're spinning this around. And it also causes cops attention, and I got kicked out. So you might want to keep that in mind. Tunnels and underground structures are really cool because you can spin the wool and it hits the walls of all the structures. So it's like this plane or panel of sparks just kind of going across the building. You could do it outside on the grass, but only after it has been done raining for a long period of time. And in the middle of the road is pretty safe. I've done it so many times in the middle of the road. But always make sure you wait like maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes after you leave the location, because a little spark could land on a little piece of grass and in a few minutes it could just burn up and cause a very large fire. So you do not want to be responsible for that. So that's just my way of using steel wool. If you have any other tips, make sure to leave a comment down below in the comment section so others can benefit from that. Now, if you liked this video, I have an ebook for sale that will show you tons of other tricks, including a bunch of long exposure ones as well. You'll learn how to take star trail photos, you'll learn HDR, you'll learn how to take pictures of fire, you'll learn levitation photography, the invisible man technique, Photoshop stuff. All that is in a 190-page ebook that I have up for sale. The link for the ebook is going to be down below in the description. So make sure to click on that link and take a look at it, and stay tuned for the next video.